All right, so have you heard about this muddling stuff? It's everywhere these days.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely been making the rounds.
Yeah, they're saying it's like the ultimate metabolism booster, helps with weight management, even gives you more energy. Like, who wouldn't want that?
Right. It sounds pretty amazing on the surface, but, we gotta look deeper.
Exactly, because there's a ton of hype with any new supplement like this.
Mm.
We want to cut through that and see what the science actually says.
Absolutely. And that's what we do best, right? Deep dives.
You got it. So for this deep dive, we've got some excerpts from a podcast review that really breaks down MITOLYN's claims.
And, some of it sounds pretty convincing, gotta admit.
Oh, for sure it does. It's like they're trying to cover every base. Like, this MITOLYN is a multi-pronged attack on everything standing between you and, your best self.
I know, right? Boost metabolism, suppress appetite, increase energy, even optimize digestion. It's a lot.
It is. So maybe let's start with this whole boosting metabolism thing, because that seems to be a big focus for them.
Yeah, that's a big one. And this is where understanding how our bodies actually burn calories is really key. Think
Yep.
of your metabolism kind of like this intricate engine with all these different parts working together.
Oh, okay, so like MITOLYN is like the high-octane fuel that makes it run smoother. Is that kind of the idea?
That's the idea they're selling, yeah. But it's, a little more complicated than that. There are a bunch of ways you can actually influence your metabolic rate. Things like gaining muscle, getting enough sleep, managing stress.
Oh, yeah, stuff we hear all the time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Even just fidgeting more can make a difference. But when it comes to supplements, their impact on metabolism is, I'd say, often overblown.
So not as simple as popping a pill and watching the
Mm.
pounds melt away.
Not quite. No magic bullet, unfortunately.
Darn. Well, maybe the magic is in the mitochondria, because that's something they talk about a lot with MITOLYN.
Yeah, the mitochondria, they're really at the heart of MITOLYN's claims. These tiny structures inside our cells, they're the real powerhouses. They convert what we eat, the nutrients, into usable energy.
Okay. Mitochondria, I vaguely remember them from biology class, like way back when.
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
Remind me why they're so important, particularly when we're talking about weight management.
Sure. So picture those mitochondria like these tiny factories, right? They're churning out energy that our bodies need to function. And the more efficiently they're working, the more calories you burn, even when you're just resting. But, some people have what's called mitochondrial dysfunction, and that can actually mess with this whole process, make it harder to lose weight.
So is MITOLYN saying they can somehow like fix those dysfunctional mitochondria?
Yeah, that seems to be what they're suggesting.
Interesting. So how do they think they're going to do that?
Well, that's where we got to look at the ingredients, right?
Right. Okay, let's do it. So what's in this MITOLYN stuff?
Well, the review lists a few things. Coenzyme Q10, CoQ10 for short, which has actually been linked to better mitochondrial function.
Okay, CoQ10. What else?
They also mention this thing called pyrroloquinoline, quinone, PQQ, another ingredient some researchers think could help those mitochondria work better. But here's where it gets, I think, even more interesting. They also add a bunch of plant extracts, vitamins, and minerals.
Oh, wow. So it's like a whole mix of everything. Are they saying it all works together to, create this super powered metabolism boost?
That's the pitch, for sure. But just because you throw a bunch of ingredients together, it doesn't mean they magically work better as a team.
Good point.
We got to break it down, look at each ingredient, and see what the research actually says.
All right, let's do it. So first up, CoQ10. What's the deal with that? The review mentions something about it helping with cellular energy production and acting as an antioxidant.
Yeah. So CoQ10 does have a really important role in how our cells create energy. And yeah, it does act as an antioxidant, which can protect our cells from damage.
So that part's true.
It is. It is. But, saying that leads to significant weight loss. That's a big leap.
Okay, so even if CoQ10 has benefits, it's not some magic weight loss solution. Got it. What about that other ingredient, the PQQ? Does the research back up its claims for those mitochondria?
That one's a bit more, I'd say, controversial. There's some early research that suggests it might help with mitochondrial biogenesis, which means like creating new mitochondria, but it's really early stages.
Okay, so we've got these two ingredients. Maybe they have some benefits, but not necessarily a proven slam dunk for weight loss. What about the rest of the stuff in MITOLYN? All those plant extracts, vitamins, and minerals.
Yeah, that's where things get a little, I guess, murky. Some of them, like certain B vitamins, do play a role in how our bodies use energy, but we really need to look at the dosage, the specific types of extracts used, because not all plant extracts are the same.
Yeah, definitely starting to feel like we're peeling back layers of an onion here, and it's not getting any simpler.
Exactly. And that's why we have to be really careful, think critically, don't get swept up in the hype. We need to look closer at each ingredient, how it supposedly works.
Okay, so next claim on the list, appetite suppression. The review suggests MITOLYN can help with those, late-night cravings, keep you feeling fuller for longer.
Yeah, the appetite thing. How we regulate our appetite is really complex. It involves all these hormones and pathways in our brains. There are some plant extracts, like certain types of fiber, that can make you feel full by absorbing water in your gut.
Oh, okay, so does MITOLYN actually have those specific types of fiber? And if it does, is there enough of it to make a difference?
Those are the questions, and to answer them, we'd need to see the exact types and amounts they're using.
Fair enough. So even if some things in MITOLYN could help with appetite, is that really a good long-term way to manage weight?
Right, that's an important point. When we talk about real, lasting weight loss, it's about building healthy habits, not just relying on a pill to control your hunger.
Okay, makes sense. So next up on the list, increased energy. The review talks about MITOLYN giving you this burst of energy, making you feel more vibrant and motivated. Is there science behind that?
Well, some of those ingredients we talked about, like B vitamins, they are involved in how our bodies produce energy at a cellular level. They act kind of like coenzymes, helping to convert food into energy.
So it's not like these vitamins are injecting you with energy directly.
No, not like that. It's more about supporting the natural processes your body already has.
Okay, so maybe some ingredients can help your energy system run a little smoother,
Yeah.
but it's not like you suddenly chugged an energy drink.
Right, exactly. And we got to remember all those other things that affect our energy levels, like sleep, stress, what we eat overall.
Yeah, it's all connected. All right, last claim on the list, optimizing digestion. MITOLYN's supposed to help you absorb nutrients better and reduce bloating.
This one, I think, is where it gets a little more, I'd say, speculative. Some ingredients might, in theory, be good for digestion, but to say a supplement can magically optimize your whole digestive system, that's a stretch.
So what are some real ways to improve digestion? Is it all about eating more fiber?
Well, fiber is definitely key, but it's not the whole story.
Okay, let's park that thought for now. I think we've done a pretty good job laying the groundwork here, understanding MITOLYN's claims and what's in it. But before we go any deeper, what are some key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind so far?
Yeah, good idea. I think the biggest one is approach all these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism, right?
Don't believe the hype.
Exactly. Don't just accept the marketing at face value. We need to really look at the science and see if MITOLYN lives up to its promises.
Love it. Sounds like you've got a lot more digging to do.
It's really interesting how these supplement companies get their message across.
Oh, yeah.
They use very specific language to make these big claims,
Right.
but they don't necessarily give you the hard facts.
Yeah, it's like they're speaking your own language almost.
Yeah, and it all sounds very sciencey and official.
Right.
But are they really telling us the whole story?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's what we're here to find out, right?
Exactly. And that's why we're doing this deep dive.
Exactly. So let's get back to MITOLYN and how they say it works.
We were talking about their claims about metabolism, appetite, energy.
Right.
We even touched on digestion a little.
We did, but we didn't really get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
So what does it actually mean to optimize digestion? Is that even a real thing?
Well, digestion is this really complex process.
Yeah.
And there's no one definition of what perfect digestion looks like.
Right.
But generally, it's about breaking down food efficiently,
Okay.
absorbing nutrients the right way, and getting rid of waste regularly.
Okay.
And some ingredients might actually help with some parts of this process.
So are they saying that MITOLYN can fix, all your digestion problems?
Well, that seems to be what they're implying.
That's a pretty big claim.
Yeah. And we got to be careful about these sweeping statements.
Right.
Because while some of the things in MITOLYN might theoretically help digestion,
Okay.
like probiotics or certain enzymes,
Yeah.
it's not very likely that just one supplement can address every single digestive issue. Yeah, it's starting to feel like this multi-pronged approach thing.
Yeah.
It's more about marketing than actual science.
Mm.
Like they're just throwing a bunch of stuff in there,
Yeah.
hoping something works.
It does feel that way sometimes, doesn't it? And that's why research is so important.
Exactly.
We need studies that specifically look at MITOLYN and how it affects digestion,
Sure.
not just individual ingredients on their own.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. So let's talk about this research.
Okay.
Because the review does mention this one person
Yeah.
who lost 10 pounds in a month using MITOLYN
Yeah.
and felt amazing.
Yeah.
But we already talked about how one person's story isn't enough.
Exactly. Anecdotal evidence can be really interesting.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it's not the same as a proper scientific study.
So what kind of studies would we need to really know if MITOLYN works?
Ideally, we'd want something called a randomized controlled trial,
Okay.
where you compare MITOLYN to a placebo.
Ah, okay. So you can see if it's really MITOLYN making the difference.
Exactly. Just a coincidence or something.
Yeah. Have you seen any studies like that on MITOLYN?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find any published research that's looked at MITOLYN's effectiveness or safety specifically.
So how can we even know if it does what it says it does?
That's the tricky part, isn't it?
It is, without solid research, we have to rely on other things.
Right.
Like studies on the individual ingredients or similar supplements.
So it's like we're piecing together clues from different places.
It is a bit like detective work.
But that still doesn't really tell us if MITOLYN as a whole product actually works.
Right. It brings us to another really important point.
What's that?
Safety.
Okay.
The review does mention that MITOLYN is non-GMO,
Okay.
stimulant-free,
Okay.
and made with all natural ingredients.
Okay. They're really pushing that natural thing.
Yeah.
It means it's automatically safe.
Right. But like we said before,
Right.
natural doesn't always equal safe. Yeah, good point.
Even natural things can have side effects.
Right.
Or mess with medications you might be taking.
Okay.
And we got to remember that everybody's body is different.
Oh, yeah. That's so important.
It is. So what should someone do if they're thinking about trying MITOLYN?
That's a good question.
I would say the most important thing.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor.
Okay.
A healthcare professional can look at your health history, see if there are any risks,
Right.
and tell you if MITOLYN is a good fit for you.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, it's all about personalized healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. But let's be real.
Yeah.
A lot of people are probably just going to buy MITOLYN online
Oh, yeah, probably.
without talking to their doctor.
Yeah, that's true, unfortunately.
So that's why it's even more important for people to be smart about the information they're getting.
Absolutely.
Right? Don't just believe everything you read on some website or in a flashy ad.
Exactly.
Or even what people are saying online.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Do your research, look for evidence.
Yes.
And remember, supplements should be part of a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah,
They're not a replacement for it.
that's a crucial point.
Absolutely.
No supplement can magically undo the effects of a bad diet.
Or not getting enough exercise.
Exactly, or any other unhealthy habits you might have.
It's like building a house.
Okay.
You need a strong foundation of healthy habits.
Yeah.
And supplements are kind of like the finishing touches.
Okay.
They can make things look a little nicer,
Yeah.
but they can't build the whole house for you.
I love that analogy.
Right.
And it's so true.
And, it's important to remember that even if you're already living a healthy lifestyle,
Yeah.
supplements aren't a quick fix.
Right. It takes time.
Yeah, it's all about consistency and patience.
Exactly. Sustainable weight management and overall health.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Ooh, I like that.
And it takes making informed choices
Right.
and committing to making small changes that you can stick with.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So speaking of making informed choices,
Yeah.
where can people find reliable information about supplements like MITOLYN?
Yeah, that's a good question because there's so much information out there.
Right, and a lot of it is conflicting.
Oh, it is. It's like a minefield of information.
Oh, yeah.
I would say good starting points are places like the National Institutes of Health,
Okay, the NIH,
the Food and Drug Administration,
the FDA.
or scientific journals.
Okay, so places where, the research is legit.
Exactly. Look for evidence-based information.
Right, not just flashy ads or testimonials.
Exactly. And if something sounds too good to be true,
Yeah.
it probably is.
Right. Always a good rule of thumb.
Yeah. Be a critical consumer, ask questions, and learn as much as you can.
I love that this has been such an insightful deep dive.
Yeah, it has.
We've learned so much about MITOLYN.
Yeah.
Its claims,
Mhm.
its ingredients,
Yeah.
and how important scientific evidence is.
It really is so important.
So before we wrap things up, what are some of the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Well, I think the most important thing is to don't believe everything you read or hear about supplements.
Especially the marketing stuff.
Oh, especially that be skeptical, ask questions, and do your research.
It's like trust but verify.
Right.
Don't just blindly accept what you're told.
And the second thing I'd say is
Yeah.
supplements should be seen as something that adds to a healthy lifestyle.
Right. Not a replacement for it.
Exactly.
So focus on those healthy habits.
Yeah.
Eating good food,
Mm.
exercising regularly,
Yes.
managing stress,
Yeah.
getting enough sleep,
All the basics.
all that good stuff.
And the final takeaway I would say is,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to talk to your doctor.
Right.
They can give you advice that's specific to you.
Personalized advice.
Exactly, and help you make good decisions about your health.
That includes whether a supplement like MITOLYN is right for you.
Exactly.
Those are great takeaways.
Yeah.
I feel like our listeners are really well equipped now
I hope so.
to navigate the world of supplements.
It can be really confusing out there.
Oh, for sure.
It's all about giving people the tools they need
Yeah.
to make their own choices about their health and well-being.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So before we officially sign off,
Yeah.
is there anything else you think our listeners should keep in mind?
About MITOLYN, or supplements in general.
You know, this whole thing has really got me thinking just how we as a society think about supplements, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Like we're always looking for that quick fix.
Right, the magic pill?
Exactly. And with all the advertising and marketing out there,
Oh, it's everywhere.
it's so easy to get caught up in it all.
Totally. Especially when they're throwing those before and after photos at you and all those amazing testimonials.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to resist.
So let's say our listener is intrigued by MITOLYN. They've heard all the claims, but they're not quite sure what to do. What advice would you give them?
Well, first thing I'd say is don't jump into anything without thinking it through.
Okay, so take your time, do your research.
Exactly. Really think about, what are your goals?
What are you actually hoping to achieve with this supplement?
Right. And be honest with yourself. Are those goals realistic?
And I guess even more importantly, is there maybe a safer, more sustainable way to get there?
Yeah, that's the key question. Sometimes the answer might be making changes to your lifestyle instead of adding a supplement.
Things like making some tweaks to your diet, maybe moving your body a little more, making sure you're getting enough sleep.
Those are the things that really make a difference in the long run.
It's so easy to forget about the power of those simple everyday things, you know?
Absolutely. They might not sound as exciting or as quick, but they're really the foundation of true health and well-being.
Love it.
Yeah.
So before you click that Buy Now button, take a minute, step back, think about the bigger picture.
Yeah, think about your overall health goals and if this MITOLYN really fits into that picture.
And, remember that this deep dive is just a starting point. We've uncovered some interesting stuff about MITOLYN.
Mm-hmm. Peeled back a few layers of the onion.
We did. But there's always more to learn.
Oh, absolutely.
And as we keep learning and growing, we can all make better choices. Choices that really help us on our own health journeys.
Couldn't agree more. Keep asking questions, keep that curious mind going, and never stop learning.
Well said. This has been a fantastic deep dive into the world of MITOLYN, and I feel like we've all gained some valuable insights.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay healthy.